刚刚从大岛回到我们毛伊岛，今天就去见一下我在毛伊最喜欢的经纪人 Leslie， 然后去向他讨教一下关于最近炒得非常火的毛伊叫禁止短租，所以因为我们很多个房子都会受影响，所以想去听一听他的经验。Leslie 在上个星期举办的听证会上也有发言，所以我想听听他一手的资料，也想给大家分享一下这个禁止短租的条例到底情况怎么样，以及会有什么影响。我们其实在大岛呢也看了一圈房子，从西部的 Kona 的公寓到东部 Hilo 那边，哪怕是海边的房子，价格是比毛伊好了很多。但是我发现那边的出租情况，无论从价格呀，就是每天的出租的价格，或者是这入住率都差了很多，所以我们还是最后没在那边买，还是看回毛伊的房子呢。从我们住的在毛伊的房子是我们在这边买的第一个房子鲁安纳凯，到今天跟 Leslie 见面的这个地方，这是他上市的一个房子，应该是也就6分钟的时间。说着说着，你看我们就到啦，这就是他的房子啦，叫 Kihei Holiday。好吧，我们去跟 Leslie 聊一聊。这个小区看起来还不错，对面就是海滩，然后这边就是这个小区呢。我们走进去看一下，好漂亮的花呀。We'll just make it very casual.
Casual, totally.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So this is Leslie, and Leslie is my favorite realtor in Maui, and she helped me and a lot of my friends buy properties here. And she's more than a realtor. I feel like she really put a heart. It's really helping us when we are living in mainland. So thank you, Leslie, for all of your help.
Thank you. Well, no, and I feel the same way. I totally feel the same way. I have been a realtor here for 36 years, and I've lived on the island for 42 years. 4 daughters born and raised here. This is my home, and my favorite thing to do is helping my clients who become my friends. So
that's awesome. And then you invest in short-term rental here yourself.
Yeah,
is that right?
I have had, I currently have 2 in Ma'alaya, one of which I've owned for over 30 years, and I've owned several condos throughout the years, but I have held on to these 2.
Yeah.
So
I love your listing. I remember when you helped me to buy my unit, I shamelessly stole the design of the wallpaper. I said, that's too beautiful.
I said it's how my rentals are, it's why they're so good. It's
exactly. And all your contractor handyman. So thank you first of all.
You're welcome.
So the reason we want to do it today is because we live in mainland, even its west coast is close to Hawaii, but there's still so many things. Even the internet is so powerful, but there are a lot of garbage online. So we want to hear from people who are local, who are really expert, to understand a little bit about the bill.
Going on.
Exactly. What's going on? So could you just start from there? We heard about the short-term rental ban in Maui. What's going on?
Okay. So it really starts with, we've had a housing shortage, an affordable housing issue for decades, right? For years. But now because of the fires, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure with the government, right? So they're feeling the pressure.
They're feeling the heat.
I was going to say they're feeling the heat, and I didn't say that. But they are feeling that pressure. So basically, the governor, there's a bill, 2919. Early in May, the governor passed a bill essentially giving the power to the counties. And I'm certain he couldn't do that fast enough because he wanted to take the pressure off himself, right? So this bill essentially gives the powers to the individual counties.
And here's Maui County.
Right? So now here we are. The bill that is being proposed by the mayor is to eliminate about 7,000 condos that are on apartment zone land. So if you think of Maui and legal short-term rentals, you have hotel zoning and you have apartment zoning. There's over 7,000 legal short-term rentals in apartment zone land.
I see.
Years ago, they tried to do what they're trying to do now, but they realized they couldn't do it because they didn't have a legal leg to stand on. Well, now they feel like they have a bit of a loophole because they can do this under the emergency sort of housing shortage,
I see.
right? But the problem is our condos are barely, I mean, they're not considered affordable housing.
Right.
Right.
Their HOA could be $1,000.
Right, exactly. Right. So it sounds good, right? It sounds good to the people who want to believe that.
Yep.
Wow, give up $7,000. Those will convert to long-term rental. Well, there is no conversion, right? Because we as condo owners can do whatever we want with condos.
Right.
But again, the messaging that's out there is, yeah, this is a great idea because now we're going to have 7,000 condos that won't be in short-term rental and they'll be long-term rental units. Well, we have property rights, right? So it is an uphill battle. So where we're at right now, it's with the Planning Commission. And last Tuesday was the first public hearing. And there were a lot of people there. I testified. I think I sent you my testimony. A lot of people opposed this bill because they realized it would be an economic disaster for Maui to do this.
I see.
I mean, all the millions of dollars that that short-term rentals, spend, just in taxes and so forth. So we're in the public hearing phase of this. Okay. So the next step, there's another public hearing. That's July 9th. The Planning Commission could say, okay, I think this is a great idea. It would be, we'll see if that happens.
Right.
But if they do, the next step is it goes to the county council for a vote.
I see.
That's where I'm a little worried, to be honest, with that part. Because the county council, there's a couple council people who really want the
no tourists.
They don't want tourists.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the same people that essentially want it to be more like Molokai, where there's no tourists. So, but let's, worst case scenario, if this passes through the county, there are 7,000 condo owners like myself, probably like you, just ready to fight.
Right.
Right, because this is, unconstitutional.
Got it. So the bill is basically not set yet. It's still in planning committee.
It is a proposed bill. Exactly. It's in the planning committee's hand, and they are still doing the public testimony.
I see.
And there is no economic study done yet.
That's what I heard. They plan to do that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know a date for when?
I don't know. And I feel like the Planning Commission will wait for that.
I see.
It makes sense to wait for that step.
To make their decision.
I
see.
I feel like this will be pushed out and
got it.
Possibly delayed.
So, talking about the deadline, what does the bill propose? Like when we cannot do short-term rental anymore?
So again, I always go, okay, worst case scenario. How does the bill read? What are they proposing? They're proposing 7,000, which is about 2,000 on the west side and 5,000 on the south side.
Okay.
I believe it's July 1st, 2025. Is when you would stop the renting on the west side condos.
I see, the 2,000 units.
Correct. And then it would be January 2026 for the remainder.
I see. Got it.
Right. And so that's what they're proposing.
Okay.
But
perfect.
again, I think litigation will immediately begin, which I would imagine there would be a stay. And what do? We just keep renting our units. We keep making money.
Right. I see. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So as because I own a few short-term rental here, and unfortunately 3 of them are in apartment zoning.
Right.
So in this case, what can I do? Especially I live in West Coast, and I'm on mainland, not in Hawaii.
Right.
And is there anything I can do? And then should I sell? That's what people ask me all the time. What do you think?
Don't sell. Okay. I'm getting questions all the time about that. Don't sell. I mean, unless you have to for other reasons. But I would say don't sell. Keep renting. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
What can you do to help? There's a lot of mainland owners, right? And there is a really good Facebook site, and it's called STRs Aren't the Problem. I would definitely recommend going on Facebook. Maybe find me. I will send you an invitation to this group. There's a lot of great information on there. A lot of smart owners, ready to fight.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. if there's an opportunity for the July 9th testimony, send in your opposition. I'd be happy to help kind of craft, an opposition testimony letter.
I see.
Because I think we need to kind of hit on different aspects as opposed to the same message over and over. So
I see.
Happy to help with that.
Got it. I think that's one of the keys. Join force with other.
Force. Yep. Join force.
Okay.
And I'm happy to help.
Perfect.
Just reach out to me for that.
Yep. We'll share the address with all the audience.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So given what we have said, now we understand the situation. Do you still think it's a good time to invest in Maui?
I do. I think there's always opportunity, right, in different markets. It's sort of like stock market. When the market's down a little bit, what do? You buy, right? So there are people who have put their condos on the market and prices have come down a little bit. So I think there's opportunity, even in the apartment zoned properties. So I wouldn't hesitate in buying one of those.
Okay.
I feel like there's opportunity there.
And how about hotel zoning?
We're sitting in a hotel zoned property right now.
Okay.
So
it's a beautiful view, right? When I come in, it's like looking at outside.
Yeah. This is a perfect example of a hotel zoned property. They are not at risk with what's going on. So there's plenty of buildings that are in hotel zone. So there's opportunity.
Got it. Okay. And how about the single family market? Like we look at some of the property the other day. Right. What do you think of those markets?
So I think it's great, especially with what we were looking at where you have let's say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with an attached
ohana,
or detached ohana. You can rent the main house out, leave the ohana for yourself to come and go, or you can rent both of them out.
I see.
So we have a really strong rental market, especially for short term.
Right.
So you'll always be able to keep it.
Yeah, that's one thing I heard, because we're debating, we can buy a long-term rental in Bellevue or Kirkland, Seattle area for 1.3, 1.4. Right. We can probably rent it for 4,000, 5,000. Right. But here you buy the same one, it seems the main house can rent for over 5,000.
I would say between 4 and 6, depending on, sort of what we're looking at. And then you have the ohana unit, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath where...
How much can that rent for?
I think the ones that we were looking at, probably $2,500.
Got it. Okay. So those are actually pretty good returns.
With no homeowner dues. So
got it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. This has been so helpful, Leslie. Is there anything you think you want to share, your last thoughts?
I'm here to help, and I really welcome any questions. Feel free to reach out to me anytime you have questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you again. I look forward to invest more in Maui and then to have our relationship get richer and richer. So
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Yep. 希望今天跟 Leslie 聊的关于猫语短租的事情对大家有所帮助。如果想了解更多关于猫语短租的事情，请点赞关注哦。谢谢大家。